If you're like us here at Attack of the Show and you're losing sleep over whether the Borg are better than Boba Fett or why the Force puts any silly Vulcan nerve pinch to shame, then you'll be pleased to know that we've assembled a panel of experts in all things Star to finally determine once and for all which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars. Beam up, folks. It's time for The Loop. Joining us tonight in Orbit of Endor, Kevin Rubio, creator of the underground short film Troops and writer of Dark Horse Comics' The Return of Tag and Bink. And from the G4 holodeck, writer, producer of the cult film Free Enterprise and producer of the upcoming film DOA, Mark A. Altman is here. Gentlemen, welcome to The Loop. Interesting location choices. Kevin, I want to start with you. Aside from the toys, because I played with the plastic tricorder thing, that just sucks. Which is better here? What's taking it here, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Well, it's obviously Star Wars versus Star Trek. I mean, if you think probably there's no other film in history that has done more to influence a generation, not only as far as inspirational of entertainment, but really influence the industry as a whole.
Star Trek is so much more of a pop culture institution. It has endured for 40 years because it has an essential optimism about the future, and it also is an allegory for the times we live in. It's about something, and it's a trek. It's noble. There's an odyssey. It goes back to the time of the Greeks. Star Wars is, you know, ray guns and spaceships, and it doesn't hold a candle to Star Trek.
Star Wars is a time-tested story that was taken directly from Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces. So
you mean plagiarized?
Star Trek goes back to the Greeks. Star Wars goes back to the Greeks. Everybody's borrowing from everybody.
Yes, and George Lucas borrowed from Gene Roddenberry when he created Star Wars, with cloaking devices and with blasters being thinly veiled
well, you know, one thing is that Star Trek would not be where it is today if it wasn't for Star Wars, because it was Michael Eisner in his short-sightedness at Paramount when Star Wars was such a big hit that said, gee, what do we have around there that's like Star Wars?
All right, Kevin, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the current state of Star Trek, because if you look at the last few movies and even some of the last few series, it looks like it's not the healthiest franchise of all. Why is that? What is Star Trek missing?
They're boldly staying where every show has stayed before. They've been doing the exact same show for the last 40 years now.
Well, let's talk about Star Wars for a second, shall we? And one word called the prequels, which are completely unwatchable and geared for kiddies. I mean, look at those announcers. In any universe you're from, that's gotta hurt. This is juvenile entertainment. If there was any merit to Star Wars, it was completely negated and destroyed by the prequels.
And the last 7 Star Trek movies have been such great movies.
Star Trek is so much more than the sum of its movies. And the fact of the matter is,
they're just blown-up television shows.
Captain Kirk is an iconic character with the respect of his crew, the loyalty of his friends, and a woman on every planet. That's somebody that males wanted to grow up and be. Luke Skywalker was a
male hope.
Mark, let me ask you about J.J. Abrams really quick. Do you think he's going to save the Star Trek franchise right now? Does he have any idea what he's doing?
Oh, God, absolutely. I mean, J.J. Abrams is a creative auteur. I think what he did with the Mission Impossible franchise, he actually made a good film with Tom Cruise, you know, so I give him a lot of credit. I think this is a guy who loves Star Trek, who grew up with the franchise, and I think that he will re-energize it in a really compelling way. I can't wait to see what he does with it. Unlike George Lucas, who has run Star Wars into the ground and made it completely irrelevant.
That's true, Kevin. I mean, I saw a little kid with a Jar Jar Binks motorized popsicle the other day, and it made me want to weep a little bit.
You know, for every Jar Jar Binks, there's a Wesley Crusher. And J.J. Abrams, with all due respect to what he did to the Mission Impossible franchise, which was great, doesn't know, you know, he can't even figure out what's going on the island, much less where he's going to take Star Trek.
All right. I think we're going to end it on that one, folks. Thank you very much. It was pretty much an epic battle, but, you know, I'm going to settle it right here, and I'm sorry. I know that I'm going to get a lot of hatred, but Star Wars, because I've appeared in a comic book based on the series. Sorry, Mark, I hate to do that to you.
You're killing me here,
Didn't mean to throw you under the bus. It's
You're
true.
killing me.
But, Mark, thank you for coming on. Kevin as well. Thanks for keeping us in the loop, gentlemen. That was a pleasure.